So I've talked about this a couple of times, but there's been a development. Uh, it's Wednesday, May 21st. So remember, following the election, when it became clear that Republicans were going to control the White House, the House, and the Senate, and Democrats were trying to sort themselves out within the structure of the House and the Senate. And in the House, there are several very, very important committees. Arguably, the most important committee is the House Oversight Committee. Over the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, the Oversight Committee was chaired by Republican James Comer from Kentucky. He is still the chair. It's still controlled by Republicans. So the highest ranking Democrat in the minority on each of these committees is called the ranking member. And following the election in 2024, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was actively campaigning to be the ranking member on the House Oversight Committee. It would have been a generational change. It would have put a woman as ranking member. It would have put someone as ranking member on that committee who not only garners a lot of media attention, but someone who knows how to effectively use that kind of attention. And so she wanted that spot. I think she would have been incredibly effective in that spot. At that same time, Nancy Pelosi had been traveling through Europe. She had fallen. She had broken her hip. She needed an emergency hip replacement surgery, and she had that done in Luxembourg. And from her hospital bed in Luxembourg, Nancy Pelosi engaged in a very active lobbying campaign against AOC getting the position of ranking member of the House Oversight Committee in favor of her long-term friend, Representative Jerry Connelly, Democrat from Virginia, who had been serving in the House of Representatives for decades. And Nancy Pelosi was campaigning against AOC and in favor of Jerry Connelly because it was his turn, because he had seniority. It was his turn. Jerry Connelly was 75 years old at the time and was dealing with esophageal cancer. AOC is not 75 years old and does not have cancer. AOC lost. Jerry Connelly was named the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee approximately not even 5 months ago, at the beginning of January. In the interim, Jerry Connelly's esophageal cancer returned, and he had to resign from Congress. That was a couple of weeks ago. Today, tragically, on May 21st, Jerry Connelly passed away from his esophageal cancer. There have been 2 other members of the Democratic Congress in the House of Representatives who have died in office since this past January. So we started out this Congress with a 217 to 215 margin. Then Republicans won the 2 special elections in Florida. So it became 219 to 215. Since then, 3 Democrats have died in office in the House of Representatives, giving Republicans an even larger margin. All of these deaths are tragic. I feel for them and their families. Legitimately, I do. But if you're old enough or sick enough that you could die in office, stop fucking running for re-election. This is such an absolutely massive problem on the Democratic side in the House and the Senate. Dianne Feinstein died in office in the Senate when it was an incredibly close margin. This is David Hogg's entire point in his new position as vice chair at the DNC. It's my turn. You've been here for 40 fucking years, but it's my turn. That is Democratic politics in a fucking nutshell, man. Staying until they literally die in office. But yet David Hogg is the problem. Get the fuck out of here.